afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Manor Close observatory. Welcome to inside the observatory control room, where we have two active computers. The first computer on our left here is the one responsible for taking the images through the telescopes, and the second one is for controlling the telescope and its guidance system. The first part of the program is to start up the mapping planetarium program, in which we use the French carte de ciel, which I'll set up here. Make it a bit bigger. Right, so now I want to switch on the telescope connected to the computer. It's quite simple in this program. You can go into the control panel and connect the telescope with a program called EQ mod. The telescope is now connected, so we unpark the telescope and the telescope is ready for action. Now I have control of the telescope, I need to open the dome, so I now need to put the dome software, connect the dome software by pressing the start button. Shortcut to Lesbi Dome Net. And shortcut to ASCOM Dome Control. Now, the next part of the program is to open the dome, which will, after we have connected them, I will open the dome. So connect and connect. Open the dome. You'll see the red timer working down, showing that the actual door of the dome is now opening. You will see now the dome shutter is open. So the next thing is to slave the dome to the telescope, which we do in this ASCOM program. So we tick the box and the dome is now slaved to wherever the telescope is looking. And the telescope is looking due north to Polaris, and the dome is actually parked in that position. So what I'll do now, I'll ask the telescope to go and point at Arcturus, and ask it to go to Arcturus, slew to Arcturus. Now you'll see it moving across the screen, and the dome itself is actually following the telescope. The telescope has now reached its target at 104 degrees, and the dome will follow it and go to its target azimuth of 95 degrees, which allows for the offset of the telescope over the mount, whether it's on the east side or the west side of the mount. The software takes care of that problem. Now we're in the dome, we're in a position to have a look around the dome. I'll show you around. This is the telescope donated by Rosie. It's a Mead LX200 12-inch telescope. It's a beautiful instrument, and we've had to do a little alteration here and there to make it fit on our Skywatcher EQ6 mount, and it works very well now. We're very pleased with it. The mount is mounted on a concrete column which is 8 foot long, as the floor of the dome is 4 foot above ground level, and another 4 foot for the concrete above it. It's very, very stable. This is the dome. It's a plywood dome. It was made with 6mm marine plywood. and about 6 years ago I think, and I've motorised it. Go around here. Motorised the dome. It runs on a 12-volt battery, chain driven to a friction drive wheel. I will show you and move it without manually move it. There it is. It drives a little aluminium wheel here with holes in, with 2 optical sensors, and this is the azimuth wheel, and tells the computer at what angle the dome is. So now I've moved it, it's going to move itself automatically back to the tracking position of the telescope. This is my arrangement for opening the dome. It's run from the computer, or I can override it by this simple reverse switch here. I'll run it back now. This arrangement here is for supplying power to the dome so that the computer can move the dome and open and close the shutter. The little wheels make contact with the plates and deliver 12 volts to the dome opening motor. This power supply is kept topped up by the solar panel on the outside of the dome and just supplies power to the manual opening switch to the dome. This little gadget here you probably recognise as a gamepad, and I find it a very convenient way to control the telescope when you're walking about away from your computer station. So I'm going to switch it on now. And set the speed to 4 on the telescope and move the telescope eventually. A little tour around the telescope. This is a 50mm finder scope with an illuminated optics, and this is a 3-inch refracted telescope with a this isn't a CCD, it's a CMOS camera on the back. That's connected to the computer, the main computer with the telescope controller, because this is used as a guide scope. This is a new CCD camera that I've got. It's a 10 megabit camera, and I'm extremely pleased with it. It's been here as long as the main telescope has, actually, about April this year. And that's all the little bits attached to the telescope. These are the electronics which I've put together in a rough sort of fashion, but they do work. This is a controller board which is connected with the computer. That passes signals to relays along here, which pass signals to the motors and take information back from the azimuth wheel. This part of the thing is not complete yet. This is a remote control for powering the telescope, which I haven't quite completed yet. These two strange looking objects here are called Batinov masks and are for focusing with various sizes of telescope. This one I use for my 10-inch, and I can also use it on the 12-inch telescope. This one is for the 7 and 8-inch telescopes that I have, and they're very, very useful indeed. This is my favourite piece of the anatomy of the dome, and it's its communication port with the house. It's a direct line, well, direct wireless line to the house for the internet. So it works extremely well. Apparently it has a range of 50 kilometres. This is the new mount that we have as well, the AZ-EQ6. That's the connection to the computer downstairs, as is that. And that is the power supply, which is attached very firmly with this new type of connector. Very stable. That's the one clutch, and the other clutch is around here, which is very, very good indeed, and the poloscope is underneath. On the old EQ6 the counterweight bar was 18mm, this is 20mm now, and a bit more substantial, very much more substantial. I have three 5kg weights and a 4kg weight on balancing. This object here is a micro focuser which I can power down from the computer downstairs and moves the focus wheel very, very finely indeed. It's very successful. Good evening everybody. Now we're ready for the evening session. I'm going to start by opening the dome again, just up here. Now the dome is opening. This is the image from the guiding camera, so that should start to improve the image when it's got something to look at. Right, we are just a little bit too early to see any stars at the moment, so I've decided to go remote. So from here I'm going to trail upstairs and set the computers on upstairs and communicate with these two computers by a system called TeamViewer over the internet. So we'll leave everything as it is. I'll switch the light out, lock the door, and we'll go upstairs and carry on from there in the house. Hello again, here we are upstairs in my house, which is about 60 yards away from the observatory, and I'm now going to communicate with the observatory through a system called TeamViewer. It's quite simple, and we'll start on the big screen. TeamViewer there. It should light up, and it asks me which remote computer I want to connect to, and I want to connect with this one to the one controlling the telescope. TeamViewer. Now I'm going to log on to the computer that controls the telescope downstairs, and its partner number is there. Now I'm going to connect to it and put in the password that lets me through. And then the screen for the computer downstairs has miraculously appeared up here. And that is press here dummy guiding system. So I'm going to move the telescope now to Vega in Lyra. And get the dome to follow it. Slight problem there. I think you better stop it there. Not working, is it? There it comes. So the telescope has moved to Vega. I've just got to make sure the dome has followed. There it goes, the dome is moving round now. And on the screen over there, that is connected to the camera. as is pH guiding. I've just got to move Vega to that point there, so we want to cut the speed down to 2 and try going north. Yes. Should appear in the screen on the left hand side in a moment. That's Vega. Oh, it's going the wrong way. Vega just about on target, isn't it? So now I'm going to synchronise Vega with the telescope. That should have done it. Now the next thing is to calibrate the guiding system. So what we have to do is lock onto a star. I'm going to use Vega, log onto that and calibrate PhD. When this is done its calibration system, you'll be able to lock onto a telescope and it will onto a star and it will follow it. Due to the cloud, I'm afraid I've had to close the system down, so we'll have to say goodnight at this point.
Use the power within you. Need and beg the world, turn around and help you. If you're drawn what you have within you, somewhere deep inside.
Starlight Express, you must confess. Are you real? Yes or no? Starlight Express, answer me yes. I don't want you to go.
Rusty, you're blind. Look in your mind. I'm there. Nothing's new. The Starlight Express is no more nor less than you, Rusty. I am you. I'm you and only you.
I am the starlight.
Have the power within you.
I can achieve.
Just believe in yourself. See will pop before you. Stop the rain.